I do have my little thingy up there about how I rank the various ARPGs. I do currently think that Grim Dawn is the best overall currently, but there's a big asterisk there because Last Epoch is not fully done yet. Still in early access, doesn't have all the masteries put in, and they're still working out some wonky issues and stuff like that with the multiplayer update. So we'll see how that all shakes out. Imagine Quilly Teen greeting viewers that way. YouTube said. Be so out of context. Hey, ya fucks. It's like, should I change to like, hey, ya peeps or something like that? I don't know. Do you have a list of mods for Grim Dawn? No, so there are some excellent mods out there for Grim Dawn to completely change all the class systems and things like that. A lot of people have said great things about them. I don't run them. A lot of times I do run Grim Internal, which is sort of a third-party sort of thing to give you like overlays for DPS and stuff like that. I'm not running that today. I do run rainbow filters, which all it does is colors the text in your items to make it a little clearer what things are doing. I got nothing going on that's changing the gameplay in any way whatsoever. Part of me, I had actually strongly considered doing a dervish today because I've never really properly built one and done one. That would be very fun. A dervish is a combination of Nightblade and Oathkeeper, and I was going to go like poison, two-handed melee kind of vibe. But I know that viewers are always big on summoner builds. And here's the thing. Kiss for Luck's going to be streaming some Last Epoch after this, and I think I'm going to be joining her for some multiplayer. And part of me is wondering about rolling a summoning like necromancer over there. I don't know if she'd make a new character or not, but I might still just go in with a newer character and join that way. I'll be a little underleveled at first, but it's not a bad problem. But and so if I do like a pet necromancer summoner kind of build over here, you can start compare and contrast a little bit more directly. So we're gonna put all those together. I'm gonna hit start. We're gonna get a cutscene on my new character, make my own friends. We're playing hardcore mode, so that's permadeath, and veteran difficulty, which is certainly a little bit more challenging. We'll see how it goes. What about best loot filter? Best loot filter by far is Last Epoch. It's not even close. Although Grim Dawn's pretty good as well. Excuse me. I need a beverage.
We paid a heavy price, but the trap worked.
You seem surprised.
It's been a while since we've had a win. How long will it hold?
I've never entrapped a being like this, but the bonds hold. For now.
How do we dispose of it?
I'm just a whip.
They're talking about me.
You're the soldier.
If it bleeds, I can kill it.
How do you kill a spirit, though?
If you kill the mortal vessel while it's bound, the spirit may perish within. If it escapes...
It's listening to us.
What are you?
Others of your kind name us ethereal.
Why have you invaded our world?
Yeah, I haven't played Forge Guard with animated stuff yet.
First, you were managed by your corrupt gods. Your kind opened the way, and now we return to reclaim what by right should be ours.
I've heard.
So we've been possessed by some sort of space demon.
Let's hang out.
Some sort of magic space demon. But it's okay, because the magic space demon's about to leave my body. It's fine. Everything's okay.
Destroy this vessel, and I will find another. I have tasted its desires and emotions. Your kind is weak. You have already launched this war.
Do it.
Captain!
Cut him down.
What? Are you mad? Better safe than sorry.
The spirit has fled!
This is a human now.
The art style here is a little Darkest Dungeon, isn't it? Right?
When they awaken,
That's a good thing.
remember a thing.
The ethereal was right. The war is lost. We're a resistance now.
First time, yes. First time meme, exactly.
Called our cause.
Well, thanks, Gorn. I'm not very good at Total War. I always say it's the best game I don't play.
Send them to me. If they don't, bury him deep with the others.
I got nervous because they're like, oh, we want to sponsor some of your videos. I'm like, you know I'm bad at it, right? they're like, nah, it's fine. Okay, good. As long as we're all on the same page, everything is groovy. All right, we're gonna go ahead and accelerate some things over here. There is some great story. Diablo series does have like the best cutscenes for telling the story, but otherwise I love the world and setting and vibe of Grim Dawn a lot. Basically, I don't know, they woke up one morning, things were grim. The undead started to rise everywhere. Everyone in the world is crap. The town we were just in with a little hub we're there, we used to be a former prison. It was Burwich Prison, and it now has turned into one of the very few safe places for some humans to sort of take refuge in here. And yeah, they found us somewhere along the way. We have no idea how we got here. Apparently we've been possessed by a magic space demon for a little while. And I do like it when enemies fight each other in these ARPGs. I think it adds so much extra. It's such a little thing, but it gives you more of a vibe about the world, which I think is fantastic. Hey, we just leveled up to level 2. So we're gonna choose our class. You don't choose your class when you create your character. Here you choose your class at level 2 and you choose another class at level 10. Your character is actually a combination of 2 classes. Already getting a whole heckin' lot of build diversity there, because I think there was 9 classes there, right? Which means what, 72 combinations already? That's pretty good. So we're gonna go Necromancer first. Later on, so at level 10 you get to pick your second class. You don't even have to worry about picking your second class right away. You can just hold off if you want. We'll pick Shaman. The combination of 2 will make us a Ritualist and a very, very, very potent summoning class. So yeah, we're gonna pick that up. We're gonna put a point in the base class. Every point in the base class is giving us a bunch of stats, but it's also how we unlock some things over here. And we're just gonna go and dump some points in Skeleton. I think what I'm gonna do, every time we level up, we get 3 points. I think I'll put 2 into Raised Skeleton and then 1 into the base class over there. So we'll get you over here. We'll go and get Raised Skeletons. Boom. There we go. It was my... Okay, my summon limit is currently 3. So I summoned 3 in a go, but 3 is also my limit. So we're gonna go around and have a few friends hanging around with us. So we're still gonna try to be fairly speedy through this first area. Come into this house. In the very first zone, and here's the thing. The reason that the map is the best in Grim Dawn is because so it's not randomly generated, the map, but it has so many details. There's tons and tons and tons of secret hidden stuff all throughout the map. There's some, hang on a sec, there we go. There's some vaguely sort of like non-linear kind of content. You'll run into some things now that you can't even unlock. You have to come back to these areas later with things, which really gives the map a great vibe. But it also, it's got lore. You can read all they're all on the wiki if you want. They're fantastic. The lore from these notes is stupendous in this game. Very, very, very rewarding to consume all that. And yeah, we're gonna take advantage of our slight knowledge of the world here to get some of these starting lore notes and some extra starting loot. While the map is fixed, some of the roadblocks and things like that do get randomized, so you can't necessarily take the same path through everything every single time, which is great. Oh, I didn't do the resubs. Oh, I tell you what, I will find a moment in a scooch to do that. Maybe next time we get back to town. Maybe that'll be a good time to do it. So there's a dead body here with another fixed sort of rare drop available. Basically, this very first zone, if you go looking around, you will find a rare one-handed weapon. I believe, is that in this room? No. There'll be a rare one-handed weapon, an axe. There'll be a rare two-handed item, which we just found. A rare one-handed gun and two-handed gun as well. One of the big things in Grim Dawn is it is the game that has the best sort of quality of life for melee. It is the only action RPG that I've ever played where if you just hold down the left mouse button, you'll keep moving around, but as soon as you pass over an enemy, it'll fire without having you to release and re-click the button. And I do very much hope they add that in Last Epoch. Diablo 4 doesn't have that, which is you know, a little annoying still too. You know, it's just a little tiny quality of life thing that you don't have to click the same way, and you sort of just like vaguely move your mouse in front of stuff, and it's really good. So if we skirt around here, oh yeah, it'll be up here. I don't know if it's this building or another one over here that's got the two-handed axe in it. I think it's this one, or sorry, the one-handed axe. I think it might be this building over here. Not there. I might just be wrong. It's somewhere over here. It's not a big deal. We don't need it. We actually don't care what kind of weapon. Right over here, there will be the first fixed sort of world boss. Rare, Barog the Bloodied. He does have a chance of dropping, there you go, Barog's Bloody Arm of Decay. which has which one's the bloody armor of decay? Right here. So one-handed mace. Oh, right. When I level up, I do get some stat points as well. I'm going to putting almost all of them into physique for just pure health on this build. As a summoner build, I really am not going to need much in the way of dexterity or spirit. So it's going to be really easy for me to just invest in physique, make my character herself fairly strong, which is nice. All these lore notes, in addition to having fantastic lore, give you a tiny bit of XP. And if you do play in multiplayer, anyone who picks up the lore, if they read it, all characters get it, and all characters get the XP, which is just lovely. Titan Quest, the reason I backed Grim Dawn so early. Yeah, I actually feel terrible that I spent so long not playing Grim Dawn. I owned it for a long time, but I stuck to playing Titan Quest because I love the setting in Titan Quest. Like real world, mythical stuff. There we go. We'll save a character over here. Might give us a little more XP when we turn it in, but also some rep in town. That's gonna be good. So yeah, we're gonna keep trying to be fairly speedy right now. Oh yeah, we do have another level. So again, I'll level up the base class here, put a couple more points in skeleton, resummon my skeletons, which are now stronger. Is my limit is still 3? Yeah. But yeah, the skeletons are getting stronger and stronger, which is nice. And just like that, we also leveled again, so a couple more points in skeleton. Do this. Oops, my skeletons are on cooldown still. There you go, resummon them. And the other thing we're gonna do is right away, we're gonna change the loot filter to not show me common items. I don't want common items anymore. In fact, we'll very quickly not even show regular magic items. We'll only want rares or better fairly soon. So the loot filter in here, until I played Last Epoch, I was like, this is the best loot filter in any action RPG. And that Last Epoch just went like above and beyond. So I thought that was an enemy skeleton that was trying to shoot it. So right over here, there's a cave. Oh, wait, I'm not in veteran difficulty. I was gonna say, this is actually seeming like shockingly easy and squishy. Let me take care of this. We'll pop back to town. I'll just reload on veteran difficulty. I just forgot to hit the button on our character creation screen. But yeah, Titan Quest, I love the setting. Because you start in like ancient Rome, then you go to ancient Egypt, then Babylon, then China. Then they had their Ragnarok expansion. And that's really cool. And Grim Dawn is basically by the same people. Technically, it's a different company, but it's the same people. My summon limit's still 3, right? Yeah. But this fight is so much easier not being on veteran difficulty. But yeah, different company, same people. But yeah, the mechanically just turned out to be so much better. It's such a sweet spot of balance and various things like that. It's really, really good. Right over here, we're gonna get our first shrine. So these will give us devotion points, which are another way that you can level up and customize your character. They come in 2 flavors. The ruined ones, you need to sacrifice an item for it. And then the defiled ones, where you have to fight. But we'll just do that. We'll go to Devil's Crossing. I'm gonna log out, log back in on higher difficulty. We'll also read the resubs.
The dead attacks have slowed and their numbers are thinning. I take that as a sign that you've dealt with the source.
Yeah, I'm super awesome and badass. I've totally dealt with the only person anywhere around that's raising the dead. Nobody else anymore around Devil's Crossing is raising the dead. You don't have to worry about that. Everything's cool. No worries. Excellent. Okay, let me just pop out to the main menu and set ourselves onto veteran difficulty. Boop. So veteran difficulty is just for normal. Really, some people have argued that the normal should be veteran, and then there should be a check mark for like sort of easier or newer to ARPGs modes. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Veteran isn't even it doesn't apply to Elite and Ultimate. So it is one of those games like old school Diablo and stuff, where you beat the whole game on normal, then you restart and beat it again on Elite, and then you restart and beat the whole thing on Ultimate. Veteran is just a mod for normal difficulty. We'll pop back in there. We'll check our messages. Bum, 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 bum. And we just got whiskey and chocolate. Hey, Aku. Hey, Quill just built a new computer, celebrated by starting a playthrough of a 20-plus-year-old game. That's awesome. The last time I bought my new computer, like the one I had before the one I'm currently running, was literally just so that we could play Dwarf Fortress better. Which, you know, Says quite a lot about it. Grim Dawn is one of the games where it does pause when you tab out, which annoys the crap out of me as someone who want to make content creator, because it'd be nice if the music stayed and the animations kept playing, but oh well. Yeah, resubs, subs and resubs. We got Bubacles, who's just resub for 21 months. Reese is their second month, is love from the UK. Keep up the amazing work. Been watching Sims EU3. Thank you very much, Reese. Snavia is at 86 months. Starfire SG1's at 74. Pepito Jones. Rip Pepito Jones, who died on Saturday fighting a Minotaur in our Dwarf Fortress run, has resubbed for the 50th month, and DBMSX at 30 months. 1K sub hype is at 8 months. Jeansy's at 34. Malkuth, a wonderful little 88 months. Bunisher is at 105, who says, how would you describe a pun about a pun? It's punishingly bad. This is what you built me up for, Bunisher? This? Okay. All right. Okay. Asatru is at 97 months, and Fenian started us off today at 70 months. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, give all the boos in chat. Oh, this is the same Aku? Oh wow. Oh yeah, as the Whiskey and Chocolate Fund contribution. Well, thank you very much. It was punishing the bad. Literally told you. You did. So now, anyway, that we've proven ourselves by killing, again, the only person raising the dead over here, we are now allowed into Burwitch Prison itself, where we can find a few more peeps. We got Fallis, who we just rescued. There we go. Giving us a little bit of money, a little bit more rep, and some scrap, which is another resource that we use. Sybil Hart here, her cousin, Milton, is one of the people who was left behind in one of the town's Utnaboot, and she wants us to check up on him and return with an amulet. Spoiler alert, he dead in the worst possible way, as in undead. She over here will not give us a quest yet until we get our reputation up a little higher in town. And then over here is our caravan vendor. And yeah, we are completely blank. We're playing this solo self-found style on our hardcore character, because I did reset my my cache for the hardcore characters over here, so we have no loot to share between characters. So look at that, hardcore solo self-found veteran difficulty. Oh my god, we're checking all the try-hard boxes. There's a bounty table over here. When we get a higher rep, we can do quests over there if we want to farm more rep. Armin over here is telling us that there's some people to kill that have been turned and are therefore nasty.
Send you over.
Barnabas has got a problem of no water for the town. The old windmill over here, which is connected to the water pump, is currently all borked and would like 5 pieces of scrap. We've already got a couple of pieces of scrap. Just one of the regular currencies you can sort of pick up in general. If need be, you can also purchase some scrap from one of the vendors right over here. Speaking of, let's go and double check. Let's equip this. Oh, I'm going to be able to equip that swanky hat shortly. I'm going to stick to like ranged. I don't want to have to walk up to things. We're not really going to be doing much in the way of melee combat. Or we're not going to be doing much in the way of DPS in general. Kaizog Skull, that's not going to do anything for me. Keep that, trash that. That's a swanky hat. We don't really need the stats in this hat. We're going to get some spirit just by leveling up our base class at some point here. 2 more points in skeletons. There we go. A couple more points over there. Resummon them. Yeah, I'll just sell that hat. That's going to be fine. The rest of the stuff is various crafting materials, which we could stick on some of our items right now, but that's going to be okay. Let's just dump some more points in physique for general hit points. All right. Yeah, okay, so I do have so Steam doesn't really have an affiliate program directly. I do have a Nexus GG account where you could purchase Grim Dawn on there, but the Grim Dawn on Nexus GG doesn't have the Steam sale on it, so it would be silly. So yeah, if you're gonna buy Grim Dawn, just look it up on Steam right now. It's 75% off right now. It's dirt cheap, yeah, $5. Like, it's never an expensive game, comes on sale a lot. May as well pick it up. And the 2 big expansions, Ashes of Malmuth and Forgotten Gods, are also really good. You don't need them to start playing, but they are definitely worthwhile. Highly recommend. There's a couple other things you can find, like the Crucible DLC. It's also fine. There's actually some cool stuff you can do with it, but it's not the same degree of importance. Yeah, let's go back over to Lower Crossing. How many times I played through the beginning of this game? A lot of times. I got the beginning hardcore memorized. So yeah, we came back over here. You can see that there's gray areas over here when you log out and log back in. And you can play it completely offline, although you can also play it online, and the characters are shared between the two. Hey, thanks for the sub, Gongi! Oh yeah, remembering that Twitch Prime. Very important. Yeah, everything sort of respawns, so you can like refarm an area if you want, but it stays revealed. It's like grayed out but revealed, which is kind of nice. Yeah, okay, so now we're on veteran mode, and you can see things are not dying anywhere near as quickly. I'm not sure that damage is increased on veteran mode. I think it's mostly the hit points of the enemies is increased. However, because you can't kind of just one-shot them, you are going to take more damage on veteran mode, simply by the fact that things survive a little bit longer. Mostly with veteran mode, it just makes kind of the start of the game a little bit tougher. If you know what you're doing, you will still fairly quickly get to the point where you're like, all right, I'm very smashy and very impressive, so I'm not too worried. Is this the back end of the cave that I just went through? I think it is. I think if I came in here, I think I could leave. Yeah, that's all Burial Hill. So yeah, we don't have to worry about that one. We got a quest marker up here? Oh, is it the, oh, it's the Aether Crystals that are being shown up on the minimap, which I can make bigger, actually. I should totally do. So Aether Crystals, just like the scrap that we've been told to find, they're just things that get used all the time as a crafting tool. The Aether Crystals are also used for respecing your devotion, which I've just realized I haven't actually invested in my devotion yet, which I should totally do. Yeah, and I was gonna say, I just realized the way I'm going is a dead end here. So, because I don't want to go in here, and I don't think this little curly Q leads to anything. Yeah, that's also a dead end, so gotta walk around a little bit more. What do you think of Titan Quest AE? I've never seen that. It's like a movie, right? An animated movie, I think? Yeah, I've never actually seen that. There we go. Now we're in the old dump. Hooray! So, at the start of this act, we're really going to spend a lot of time on the right-hand side, the eastern side of the map. That is some damage. To complete some of the side quests that we have been exposed to. Okay, that's interesting. So you notice there's a little cave entrance over here. It's not marked on the enemy map. And there's actually 3 different places that this cave can spawn. So this here is the Putrid Den? Putrid Den! Hey, there you go. Dangerous domain. It's got like a random mod applied to it. There's someone you can kill in this zone called Pusquill. Can drop a one-handed like poison-oriented weapon, which is really good for some builds. Doesn't apply to us. This area can also be very dangerous. We don't have any resistances right now, and there's a lot of poison damage in this zone. So I'm just not going to do it. It's totally optional little area. We don't care about the drop from that boss. And there's a good chance it's going to kill us. And again, we're playing on hardcore mode, so we'd rather not die and lose our character. We're just noping out of that one completely. Oh my god. Okay, my skeletons are dying rather quickly to even the little poison drops over here. We're gonna have to get some resistance for our pets in not too distant future. All right, we got a quest marker over here. So this is Pharaohs the Rotted for the Something for Nothing quest. We have 3 dudes to kill. This is the first one. Welcome to level 7. We're gonna continue. I'm just gonna max out the, please die. You. My god. For some types of pets, you can change the leash range. You can't for the skeletons. I can't like make them go a little further out and kill these things for me. It's a little funny that I can outrange my skeleton. Maybe I should get a melee weapon just because that'll encourage me to run in closer and my skeletons get in there. Okay, yeah, we'll spend more points. So every level that we're investing in our skeletons, they're getting more health, more basic damage, which is good. So we'll keep going them a little tankier. I'm going to keep going up in the base class for just general stats myself. I might want to put a point in spectral binding. No. No, I think we're okay right now. And then, yeah, when we get to 10 points in our mastery, which we might actually accelerate, we can start getting more numbers of minions at once, which is going to be great. We can have huge swarms of them. Now, in the long term, we're going to actually drop our skeletons. At some point, what we're going to use is our stronger pets. The Blight Fiend over here, and then when we get Shaman, there's another pet or two that we're going to get there. And I don't think we'll be as reliant. We'll probably just drop the skeletons completely. They're great early on. Like, if you want to play Necromancer, like, or whatever you want to play that's going to incorporate Necromancer at some point, just get the maximum number of skellies for, like, all of Act 1, probably all of Act 2, and you'll be very pleased with that. The other character I've maxed out level 100 is Petra the Petromancer. She is an occultist shaman. So I'm gonna have another pet class here, although that one is not on hardcore mode. These totems are part of the Forgotten Gods expansion. They are great. They do always summon at least one hero enemy, usually two. We got two over here, sometimes three, I think. Actually, we might have gotten three here, I'm not sure. So our skeletons are dying in, and so am I. But they're always guaranteed to drop a unique item from the totem itself. And they're a good source for blueprints as well, which is great when you're playing solo self-found like this. They do have a leash range. There you go. I was hoping to still fight one, just not both. That was very scary. Oh, you're coming back. One I'm fine with. There we go. Check that loot afterwards. We'll have to adjust our loot filter relatively soon, I think. Although right now we are happy getting a little bit of just actual raw cash, too. Okay, one more hero unit to kill. He's nearly dead, though. Great if my minions would grab more aggro. Oh, does the super low level ones not drop uniques? Well, that's interesting. Yeah, there might be a minimum level for that. Possibly because there are minimum level for uniques. I'm gonna switch to this hat. It's got more armor. Actually, kind of 6 1/2 dozen. Force Wave is a skill you can get if you're a soldier class. Mostly I want to switch to this hat because it's way swankier. Considerably more armor, yeah. I'll keep some resistances. These boots have more poison and acid resistance, quite nice early on. We're much more likely to experience more poison and acid early, so I'm kind of tempted to switch to that. Even though we lose our lightning resist. This gives me a couple of different resistances, so we'll go with this. Okay. 4 points in the physique. And you know what? I'll put 1 into Ray's skeleton and then level up my base class by 2. That seems like a good idea. What does a skeleton order at the restaurant? Spare ribs? Oh. You know why the skeleton ran away from the monster? It didn't have any guts. It didn't have any guts. It did. Anyway. Oh yeah. Forget that I gotta resummon my skeletons after they die. Oh good, we got a Slith necklace. We need 3 of those for a quest. And it is like a lot of classic ARPGs, you can progress a quest even before you get it, which is nice. Especially the quest giver for this is a little out of the way. Do these guys, they're like skeleton mages. They're like summoning little fireballs. I think there's 3 different types of skeletons you can get. Warriors, mages, and archers. I say these skeletal mages are pretty good. We have another unmarked cave entrance over here. I can't remember what this one will be. Saving the right click. Yeah, I don't have any actual skills mapped for my left or right click right now. I suppose I could put my skeleton there, but wow, yeah, those fireballs that are being dropped, they seem a little random, but man, oh man, do they do good damage. And yeah, already the skeletons are doing so much more damage than I am. Is this oh yeah, this is Jasper. Slaves here, we can take you to Devil's Crossing with the Rift Gate. There you go. Save you. A little more XP, a little bit more rep. Totally fine if you miss these, but 4 skeleton types. There's also a Death Knight as top of the skill tree. Oh yeah, right. I don't have access to it yet though. We're gonna focus on skeletons for the first little bit here, but we are gonna be switching away from skeletons at some point. We got another lore note, or more XP. So let's go and tune our drop filter a little bit more. Again, I might, we might need the cache. So what I want to do is I don't want to go to town that often if I don't have to, right? I'd rather, like, priority is sort of like getting XP. But we need to pick up a little bit. Maybe what I'll do, because normally at this point I'd probably turn off magic, but maybe I'll leave on magic. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start applying some filters over here. So only bother showing me items that have pet bonuses, bonuses to my masteries. I don't need offensive ability on this character. Offensive ability determines your chance to hit as well as crit. We don't need that. But defensive ability is the chance to dodge and turn a crit into a normal hit. Resistances is always going to be quite good. I guess we'll take speed. We don't really need the attack or cast speed, but things with run speed, I do want those highlighted. I don't know if we need cooldown reduction. Maybe I'll turn it on just so that it's visible. But yeah, there you go. So this is going to limit what we see. So like if I drop these gloves here, that actually won't show up on my filter at all. There is a hotkey that you can hit Alt to like force the show. But yeah, we're just gonna start being, here, I'll grab them anyway, just because I will sell those. But we're gonna start being a little bit more selective with what we see, just so we don't have to make as many trips back home. The interest here is to try to see how far we can get in 2 hours on veteran mode before I go and switch over to Last Epoch with at least for luck on her stream. And possibly play Necromancer Summoner there too. Why did Skeleton stop adventuring the Necromancer? His heart went into it. I like my character name. I do this a lot for my Necromancers, make my own friends. All right, so we got another Rift Gate here. So because we were possessed by a magic space demon, we have something, they've left a little bit of their essence behind, which means we, you know, uniquely of all humans, can use these rift gates to quickly travel around. And that's really what's making us special in all this. I mean, you know, presumably we got lots of determination and maybe a little bit of an innate skill or something like that, but we are the ones that can use these rift gates, and we will be using this to help humanity combat all this badness that's happened. There's tons of lore about the world and these gods and things that have happened. I've got the Aether Crystals. Like, you know what? Tell you what, I've got full inventory. Let's go to Devil's Crossing. We'll turn in the Aether Crystals. We'll sell all this junk. We'll find out that Kasparov's apprentice is missing, so we'll keep an eye out for her as well. We leveled up, so we can pick our second class. As a new player, it's actually sometimes a trap to jump in your second class immediately, because then if you start splitting your skills between two classes, it's often not as strong as making sure you go deep in one of the class and unlock more of the powerful abilities. But I'm gonna go ahead and commit to saying we're gonna pick Shaman as our second class. That'll lock us into Ritualist. The big thing with Shaman that it's gonna give us access to a Briarthorn. So between the Blight Fiend and the Briarthorn, we're gonna have two very potent summons, which are gonna do great things for us. Mogdragon's Pact is really good and gives a buff to all your pets around you. We could potentially consider grabbing Conjure into Primal Spirit, which is a non-permanent pet. It's only around for a limited amount of time per cast, but it's very powerful. Primal Bond here gives us huge bonuses to our pets. We may look into something like that as well. We could maybe do something with Wind Devils, which are just temporary summonable pets. We might mess with that. I mean, that's all pretty far off in the future. Wendigo totems, that could be a thing as well. But in the short term, we're going to keep focusing on these skeletons. In the middle term, we'll switch over to Blight Fiends and or Briarthorns with some amount of priority between the two. We shall see. But for now, I'm going to finish my raised skeleton, and then I have 2 points in Undead Legion over here. So, well, the first point gives us +1 summon. It's every few points, and maybe it's every third level or something, will give us an increase to our summon capacity. But now we can summon 4 skeletons, which is great.
See anything?
And sell the melee weapons. I think we will be going like one-handed. Yeah, really what we're going to be doing is we might end up with melee weapon, we might end up with whatever. We're kind of just going to be looking for something that gives us, that has pet stats on it. And at some point, we're really not going to be attacking at all anymore because it's going to be utterly pointless. Already our attacks are pretty laughable because we haven't invested in anything that affects our attacks. We really don't need energy. Yeah, the shield's better. Wait, did that sell? Did it right? Oh. For some reason I thought it was just shift right click that sold here. I guess I've been playing Last Epoch. There we go. Sell you. No to those boots. We got that. Okay. Now, we could go and slap some of these components on here. A lot of these are really common. So polished emeralds are very common. They're not something you're going to save later. So like, and you can put them on basically anything. So like, we could just slap our polished emeralds on a couple of items that we got kicking around, just to take advantage of the extra base stats, which is pretty nice. Scavenge plating is really common. So we can like, just go ahead and use some of this so that we're a little bit more armored up. Don't be shy about using these components to get started. There's components that apply to weapons as well that just add tons of extra like weapon damage, which is fantastic if you're actually hitting people. We're hitting people for now, so I'll throw a little poison damage on Francis' gun over here and call that good enough. And yeah, we can keep moving now. Heard a lot about Grim Dawn. I was wondering if you could tell me how min-max it is. I'm just not very good at the numbers. First of all, any build, any combination of classes you can beat the game with it. Absolutely anything. You can get there in the end. However, there is huge potential for like theory crafting and min-maxing if you want to get to like push the like most intense levels of like the repeatable endgame kind of components, which is the Shattered Realm or maybe the Crucible. So there's a lot of really nitty-gritty crunchy stuff if you're into that. But if you're not, you don't have to. As long as the only mistake you could really make is like if you spread your stuff out too thin. But respecking is really easy and convenient in this game. So if you're unhappy with your build, you can really easily, in town there's someone you can talk to undo your skill points and do that. Which reminds me, I still haven't spent the devotion. Not that the first devotion point does much. Now, normally with my characters for devotion, this is the one screen that might be a little scarier for new players. A lot of times with my characters with devotions, the priority I go for is I take the purple crossroads over here, which lets me invest points in the jackal, mostly so I can get to the second level here. 6% total speed. That's cast, attack, and movement speed. Mostly I want the movement speed. Depending on what character I'm playing, usually I will finish Jackal, because then what I'll do is I'll respec out of this dot because I won't need the red affinity anymore because I'll be getting it from completing the constellation, which gives us boost to all damage, including our pets, which is okay. Another popular one to grab early on is the eel, because if you finish the eel, you get more movement speed over there. There is a movement cap bonus, I think 35%, so or 135% is the movement speed cap, and so eventually you'll get it from gear, but early on it's quite nice to get it from your constellations. For us, we'll probably, though, kind of as a priority be going for Shepherd's Crook, because all of these, or most of these, boost the pets themselves, and at the end, Shepherd's Call is actually a really nice boost. We'll want to link this to one of our abilities, and then have this go off as often as possible. I'll probably just work towards the Shepherd's Crook here. So I need purple affinity to start on that, so I'll put a point in there. Then as we get more devotion points, we'll just go down here and get stats for our pets and things, and that's going to be great. There we go. My hovercraft is full of eels. Yes, exactly. So I'm going to want to actually make my way back over to sort of the right-hand side of the map for some quest people. I mean, I may as well keep shooting because there's no reason not to. But again, really, if I kind of want to just sit back and eat a sandwich at this point, we're already sort of at that point with our character build. Last Epoch, the pet builds are still fairly active because there's a lot of things where like, so like let's say you're playing a Primalist, you know, the sort of Druid type character, and whether you're playing the Druid Mastery or the Beastmaster Mastery, that if you're playing pet heavy, there's a good chance you're going to want to invest in, say, Swipe, because Swipe or various things where it's like, well, every three seconds when you hit an enemy, you buff all of your minions. So it's like, well, I'm clearly going to want to make sure that I'm constantly attacking enemies myself so that my minions are constantly getting buffed. So even if you might not be personally doing that much damage, you're still enabling your pets to do a lot. So that was Milton Hart, by the way. We had a quest from his cousin to find out what happened to him and get his amulet. We have gotten his amulet. He was undead and evil, so. And then right over here we got Julius Decay. There are a few different random spots where these people can spawn, but at this point I've sort of got a pretty good generalized path for like trying to find them. So this is the second person we got to kill for something for nothing. Yeah, last epoch just got updated to 0.9F. Wait, 9F or 9E? There was an update I just noticed when I was doing the stream. I thought the patch note was about 9E, or maybe they hadn't actually posted on Steam the patch notes. Yeah, okay, on Steam 9E is the last one, but there was an update today, so I guess the patch notes just aren't there. Well, I'm curious about how much to change. Piano Man asks a great question. Is there, yeah, I'll check out the 9F hotfix on there. Is there enemy scaling in this game? The answer is yes. Each one of these zones has a minimum and maximum level for the enemies. So you do have a little bit of wiggle room in terms of like where your character's at, and you'll still get relevant content. So you can't necessarily like go anywhere in the world at any given time or whatever, and have the enemies perfectly scaled to your level, because there's a min and max range. But yeah, it works out pretty well. Generally, you're not feeling you're out of whack for a level or anything like that. And what can happen is boss units tend to have a level cap that's like 2 higher, I think, than the regular minions as well. So it's quite common that you'll be like at the right, the enemies will list themselves as being the right level for you. Here we're fighting like level 9 and 10 enemies, and I'm level 10. But yeah, if we fight, so this boss over here, Negan the Withered, is level 12. Yeah, it's soft scaling, exactly. It's quite nice and interesting for the extended difficulties as well. So when you beat the main campaign, oh, I need to resummon here. When you beat the main campaign on normal, you then unlock elite difficulty. If you want, you can jump into elite difficulty right away. And again, things will be scaled appropriately. Or, because there's 2 big, massive major expansions, you might want to go and do those first. And so you can jump into elite difficulty anywhere from like maybe mid-30s to like mid-60s in terms of levels. Let's go and turn in these quests just because we're here now. But because of level scaling, the elite difficulty will cover that range. So you're never kind of out of whack. So Harmon here is going to ask us how we feel about killing those, and he's going to ask me to kill a couple more people. And Barnabas, we're going to turn in the scraps. You'll note the windmill over here is going to change, or the water pump. There you go, changes as it's repaired. But it turns out the water is still toxic. What? You can see it's like got green goop coming out of here. Something's bad. Somebody poisoned the water. Water mill? Water well? What does Woody say? Toy Story. Water hole. That's what it is. I do like boots with movement speed, but we're gonna keep our resistances. Oh, that's a nice jacket. Lots of resistances, so we'll throw that on. That's gonna be, because as a summoner, you're not really as excited about the same stats that you would see on a more conventional character, which sometimes makes it like harder to get excited about some loot, but at the same time, it does make equipping things a lot simpler. Because you're like, well, if it doesn't have a pet bonus, then literally the only thing I care about is whether it's got resistances for me. And if it doesn't have resistance for me, then who cares? That's a decent shield. I like the extra health. I don't like that we lose resistances. Better at blocking. I'm gonna say no to you. And you. There's a bunch of extra health in the shield. Yeah, we'll go ahead and equip that one. That's fine. This ring here. Yeah, I'm gonna equip the left ring. And we can turn in that amulet. Oh yeah, which we're gonna get a new item. From Sybil Hart, after we turn in this amulet. So yeah, she's gonna give us this amulet over here, the Sister's Amulet of Life Giving, which we're gonna equip. Just lots of health, universal elemental resistances. I mean, elemental resistance just fire, cold, and lightning, not the others, but it's okay. Wow, we're at 72 with poison and acid. That's great. Resistance cap in Grim Dawn is 85, I think. It's 75 in Lost Epoch, but I think it's 85 in here. So we're going to equip Sister's Amulet Life Giving. When you make a new character in the game, you always start equipped with a salt bag. Phone's ringing. Which, technically, you want to save. I guess-ish. When you get all the way to Ultimate Difficulty, there's kind of a super secret side quest that you can do that requires a salt bag along with it. Thing is, if you sell your salt bag, you can just make a new character and then dump the salt bag in the shared inventory, the shared stash. So it's fine, but just for whatever, we'll say we're going to keep it. But yeah, you can make infinite numbers of new characters with new salt bags, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, we'll go ahead and deal with the poisoned water. So we'll go to the trapdoor here, which was previously locked. Yeah, veteran difficulty slows you down on veteran. You do get bonus XP on veteran, but things take longer to kill, so overall you do get slowed down. So we are progressing through the game slower here on veteran than we would be if we were normal. But of course, get the advantage of a fair amount of experience with the game itself. So there you go, we now have third summon. It might be every other point. No. There you go. I think it was the first level and every level divisible by 3. We're gonna get extra minions out of this. Oh, I got the Death Knight one, yeah. But then it reset because I changed the skill here. Go. There you go. We got 5 of these guys sitting around. There really isn't any reason for me to shoot anymore. Holy cow. Go, pets, go! So we're down here to figure out what's poisoning things. We can kill more things for XP, although generally speaking, I'm going to be fine with just kind of progressing here. Again, the maps are fixed, but there'll be randomized blockers that sometimes cause you to path in, so you don't necessarily know what the path is going to be until you get down here and look around. But in this case, generally, we're just moving towards the top right. Took a little bit of damage there. I should probably get some of the other buffs and spells. I mean, I don't know if I'll be grabbing any spells that cast things. Oh, I lost one of my skeletons.
Hey, Quill, pay attention. There's a new subscriber.
Eltro! Thanks for the subs. What do you think about Titan Quest? Have you played it? I love Titan Quest. The vibe is great. It is mechanically rougher than Grim Dawn. In my opinion, though, it's still well worth playing. Maybe not, investing hundreds of hours in the same way as Grim Dawn is, but it's pretty good. Point to leak. Go. Shooting's pretty much the insult to their injury. Yep. I hope you don't mind spiders. There's gonna be a few of them in this game. That is cool. If you want to use the classes, there's full TQ Masteries mod for Grim Dawn. Yeah, I know about that one. I know about a few other big class sort of redesign mods and things for Grim Dawn. They sound amazing. I haven't gotten around to using them because I enjoy the base game so much still. But yeah, there's some pretty excellent mods for the game here. And because it is effectively the same engine as Titan Quest, yeah, a lot of stuff can be brought in over there. Just hang back, let the skeletons kill a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Stacking Diablo 2 Necro on top of Grim Dawn Necro is hilariously fun. Wait, is there a Diablo 2 mod for Grim Dawn? Oh my god. I mean, sure, why not? There's mods for everything in every game, right? So very quickly here, we will run into the boss we're here to kill. Fire these guys so that do that, and there'll also be another devotion shrine here. Full Diablo 2 remake in Grim Dawn. Papa just the Masteries mod. Wow. Wow. All right, so here's Veloth the Corruptor. Here's the one who's poisoning the water hole. We'll just let our minion... Okay, I'll shoot him a few times. Just so I can pretend I'm participating. But, you know, at some point I gotta accept the fact that I'm upper management and really, you know, it's not my job to get my hands dirty. All right, he did. And pet builds aren't necessarily, like, the most exciting to look at, but, man, are they ever fun to do. Another shrine, we can do that. Get a devotion point. There's a cap for devotion points. There's 55 is the limit. There are way more than 55 shrines in the game. So if you end up missing one of these shrines, it's fine. It's okay. There'll be another one. So yeah, we're going to invest in the first node of the Shepherd's Crook here, which is going to give me 40 health and 8% more health to all my pets, which is great. But yeah, we can pop out of here. Go back to Devil's Crossing. Tell Barney that we fixed the water problem.
Any luck clearing out the... Well...
There you go. And now we got nice clean water coming out here, which is great. We also unlocked our first extra inventory bag over here. I think that was a reward from this. You will get up to 4 more of these, for a total of 5 of these extra bags over here. So if you're wondering about the inventory space, hey, it gets bigger.
I'll give you a good price on what I've got left.
Really looking for something that's got some sort of pet stat on it.
See you around.
Good.
Pets and animal producer, great. Best bros question together, plus no litter box issues. Arguably superior to in real life pets.
You follow the road.
All right, so yes, we're being told we need to keep pressing forward towards Burwitch. So we got 2 quests in Burwitch, and even the Flesh and Iron one is pretty far forward in Burwitch. So these are Burwitch Village here, estates over there. That's what we're getting to. For now, we got to get to Burwitch. And it's going to be easy. All we have to do is walk across a bridge. I'm sure the bridge is going to be in perfectly good shape, and we won't have to bypass around it for any reason whatsoever. We can get more of the these slith. I think it's the shaman specifically to drop the necklaces. So if some of these packs will have some, then we have a chance of collecting more and more necklaces. What cave is this? Just entrance. What cave is this? Cavern. I don't see a flag for a devotion shrine. I think this might be a totally optional little bit, but we'll go ahead and burn through. If nothing else, we might be able to find some of the necklaces in here. The ever-descriptive cavern. Yep. Very important to the plot. Part of me is like, I should unbind attack from my left click at this point. Like, I don't even want to stop to shoot when I click. And I can. You can set your left click to move only, which is actually very common to do in most action RPGs. A lot of, like, I don't know, like Path of Exile, it's like, oh yeah, first thing you do is like unbind anything from your left click other than move. Because it is actually kind of important, because let's say you got to dodge out of something that's bad. You don't want your character to like shoot because you like accidentally clicked on an enemy instead of moving out of the way of like a big giant meteor or something like that, you know? So I'm sure we'll end up doing that, but for now this is fine. Oh yeah, we do have a name, dude. This guy over here, if you do start to get bounties from the bounty table in town, wow, I don't like getting frozen. I think one of the bounties that's available, they're sort of like randomly generated infinite like side quests that you can do, will be to kill this guy. I think that's the only purpose of this cavern. But I'm sure we can kill him anyway. Damn, he is unfriendly. Okay. One thing I like is a lot of these caves have 2 entrances, or an entrance and an exit, depending on how you want to think about it. So you don't tend to have to backtrack to the entrance. You can just go out the other side. First thing in Poe is to find a YouTube build video, because you sure as heck won't make one yourself. That's true. So Path of Exile is, like, first of all, it's free, which is hard to argue with. In practice, if you're going to spend any time in it, you're going to go and purchase extra stash spaces from the store. But that is really the only thing that even vaguely affects gameplay, is that, oh, hey, Luther's on this side. So there's 3 places you can spawn. 2 of them are on the east, and then 1 spot here is on the west. So we just happen to find them in an area that actually often wouldn't bother checking as a priority. Now, it's totally optional. like saving this guy, like, but again, it's a little bit more XP and a little bit more rep in town. So there's no reason not to do it. But if you, for some reason, don't find Luther, because you don't even know he's missing, you get some hints from talking to some people in town that, like, you know, there's some people missing and stuff, but there's absolutely no reason. You might not know that he's there at all when you first run through. And I wasn't gonna cry if I hadn't, like, found him here. Is this for me personally? Yeah. So you want 1 point in Spectral Binding, we only want that just so that we can get Spectral Wrath, which lowers enemies' nearest resistances. So we will probably want, I mean, we're gonna want this, I'm sure, as a debuff. I'm just trying to decide if I should get one of these right now. At some point, so when we finish the devotion here, so a lot of the constellations, at the end of them, they have a devotion skill. Then what you do is you bind it to an existing skill you have. And then what happens is, so here, if I bind it to a spell, an offensive spell, there's a 25% chance when I attack with that spell that it will cast Shepherd's Call. And we would like to do that as often as possible. And these are the list of things that I will have access to that can be bound to it. Yeah, including things that are on my weapons. But, I mean, we're not going to get there right away, so I don't have to stress. But it will be pretty handy for us. We'll probably do that at some point. But yeah, we don't have that right now. I'm just trying to see. We can bind it to Ravenous Earth. I mean, Spectral Wrath wasn't one of the things you can lock this to, is it? I don't know. I think we'll keep going with plan, like, more undeadness. We'll probably just end up maxing this out. I'll just spend it. Well, it'll probably be 12 before the next one. And fear people with ill omen. Oh, that's not bad. We'll put a little bit of level in here. Okay, let me resummon my dudes here. We're gonna wait until we can get the next one. Oh, my limit's over 6 now. Hey, 7. I need 3 casts to totally fill it up, which slow. How's the Oathkeeper? Oathkeeper's a great class. A lot of things you can do with it. There's a fun sort of Captain America shield toss. There's a good auto attack replacer. When I was thinking about playing Poison Dervish today, Dervish is, so it's Nightblade plus Oathkeeper, and the Oathkeeper has this, like, these pets that aren't killable. They're not real pets exactly, and mostly we just use it for, like, an aura debuff. Fun stuff we can do with it. All right, let's pull back from these. This should be easier than last time we popped one of these. That's the thing. The veteran difficulty mostly just makes things harder for the first few levels. Once you get your points in, you scale better than the threats you're facing. So very quickly, it'll stop feeling that different from playing on normal difficulty. So these are all things that in some way meet my filters. Now, the one thing I will say, I really like how clean the items are in the last epoch. Items in Grim Dawn do tend to get fairly wordy, especially since you can add both a weapon and an augment to certain things, and some of them grant skills like innately. It's a whole thing. In fact, why am I using my default left click? I'm not even thinking about this. I have Poison Bomb I could be using. So on my item right now, on my Francis gun, I put Mutagenic Ichor on there. I could use Mutagenic Ichor instead of shooting people. What's my DPS right now? 200? If I switch back to a regular attack, 42. Yeah, see? There you go. Let's start poison bombing things. It's still not going to do much damage, but it'll technically be a little bit more. So yeah, that's one thing. The other thing Grim Dawn doesn't have are good bosses. There's not really cool, massive showpiece, awesome sauce. But, oh yeah! Pet attack, that's true. We can bind pet attack on here. You can tell your pets to go places. I forgot about that completely. Thank you. That would have saved us earlier. And then, yeah, if you click on something, your pets will go and attack it. It's great to, like, direct them places. In fact, what's going to happen very soon is we're just going to have move to and pet attack. And we're not going to care about anything else. But I'll go ahead and put Poison Bomb on there for now. I think that's going to be fine. Yeah, there's not the sort of same epicness of bosses in this game as most other action RPGs. Diablo, of course, has some pretty cool boss fights. Last Epoch has done a great job at that. Hey, now if I just like
Whiskey and chocolate.
and just poison bomb these guys, they got a little bit of an AOE. Oh yeah, that's much more of an improvement. In fact, Oxygen, thank you. Thanks for the tip on how to fix Diablo 4. So that I did get a tip from someone else for that. Yeah, the turning off the high resolution assets in the installer. The high resolution assets have some sort of like stutter in there, and they're only made for people who are playing at very high res. I didn't notice any visual difference personally when turning those off, and it like killed the stutter problem, which was great. Here's the bridge into town, which is broken. If we did have a bunch of scrap and iron bits, we could replace it. On normal difficulty though, there's really no reason to do that. You always want to take the side route on normal because there's a devotion shrine down here for us. Even on other difficulties, you might want to poke your head in just to pick up the waypoint over here. But we are going to punch through the whole thing because there's a devotion shrine, and I don't want to spend all that stuff over there. Yeah, so that is the one downside. I do miss the fact that there's not really cool. There's some good bosses in here, but they're not the same tier as in some other ARPGs. Last Epoch's done a wonderful job with them, so they're big kudos there. And yeah, the itemization can be a little hard to see in this, but I don't feel like there's that many. There are definitely some good bosses in Path of Exile, but I never thought that was one of the strong points of that game. They were okay, but they weren't maybe the most dramatic. The best thing about Path of Exile is like the insane amount of builds that are possible to do because of the build systems that exist in there. On the other hand, the worst part of it is how complicated the build system is, and the fact that you kinda just can't play seat of your pants. You kind of have to like look up a complete build from the start, more or less, in Path of Exile. Otherwise, things are not going to be great, because the respecking is really not terribly kind, especially as a new user. You're not going to get enough orbs of regret, is that what they're called? To respec and things. It's going to be a whole problem. Lots of good things to say about Path of Exile, but that sort of like new player build friendliness is definitely not one of them. The Path of Grim Dawn is fine on bosses. There's a boss I could not kill at all, $1,000 in Grim Dawn. Here's the thing. There are very hard boss fights in Grim Dawn. There are very challenging boss fights in Grim Dawn that you need to go hardcore theory crafting and stuff for. Absolutely. Sorry, yeah. Let's be clear. Like, there are challenging bosses that you have to work your way up to doing, and are very satisfying once you get to the point where you've done that. I just don't think they're that interesting. Like the main campaign final boss has got like that big Cthulhu-ish thing you fight. It's like different because it's like kind of static and in the wall. But you know, it's like most of them they're just slightly harder mobs, is the way it feels like to me. But really, that's the only true criticism I can give to Grim Dawn. The bosses are slightly less interesting than they could be. They're still good, and they're still a challenge. So this is a boss. Holy shit balls! He exploded hard. Okay, so we almost died there. Oh, can I not power up orbs with my left click? Will my pets do it? The pets will do it. Wow. Maybe I shouldn't even bother having this poison on there. I've never taken on the crate boss, which I'm gonna have to do at some point. I hear he's very difficult, but this game is made by Crate Entertainment, and they have a sort of a secret, kind of comedic side boss that you can hunt down. Yeah, kind of a secret one. That is very difficult. I think mostly because he summons a lot of ads that like they explode,
hello, traveler.
Something like that. All right, so Duncan over here wants me to find his blacksmith master so we can get his hammer so that he can start crafting things for the resistance. La resistance. Now, you do have the option when you find the master blacksmith of just having him come to the town. So you get to choose which of the two blacksmiths you want. They are slightly different, but not really. There's a few other blacksmiths in a few other towns that are also slightly different. But it doesn't make a tremendous difference. One thing you can do is you can side with Duncan on one difficulty and side with Angrim on another difficulty. And then if you want to craft something and you're looking for a particular bonus that one has versus the other, you just switch that difficulty to craft your item and then switch back to the difficulty you're actually playing on. There are a couple of choices in this game, and some of them are interesting. It's not to say that they're meaningless, but none of them are gonna like screw you or do anything like that. So we're gonna side with Angrim because generally speaking, he's more appealing. Duncan's kind of an arrogant snot, in my opinion. So doing that. We could there's other like little weapon components we can throw on. So we could put a chipped claw on our weapon, for example, then we'd have slam attack instead of this poison thing. We could put chilled steel on here, and then we get ice spikes. So if you're not happy, you know, if we're playing a class like this where we literally we haven't spec'd into a primary attack, I could have put points into Drain Essence, for example, right? But yeah, use component. Oh, that's right. Something I was going to say. It is actually possible to beat the entire game with never picking a single class. Because you can get active skills from items like this, you can just beat the game that way. I don't know if it's possible from like a solo self-found kind of vibe, but yeah. Now we did pass an area back there on the map, right over here where I didn't go. Now there's actually something in there that I probably would like in that build. There is a special sort of locked side dungeon with a guy we can kill that has a chance of dropping an item, a monster infrequent, that gives us an extra summon. I don't know what the level scaling that zone is. It might be fine for us. It might be something where like, oh, we have to wait until we're like 20 or 25 or something. I think it might be fine for us. So I'd like to do that. The problem is to do it, we need a key. Now, there are monsters right outside there that will sometimes drop the key. Sometimes they don't. You have to farm it. There's also a dude we can find, and then he turns out he's not necessarily a good dude, and then we can sort of challenge him. I think we have to find him out in the wild first, and I don't remember where he is. Does anyone know? We'd find Ulgrim out here too. I don't remember exactly where he is. And we don't have to find them. It's better for the story if you do, and you do get a little bit more rep if you do. Well, that's blocked off there. I think he's always back at the prison. Oh, okay. You don't have to find him. What you have to find is a piece of paper that implies that he's a dirty, filthy cultist. That's what it is, and that's how you like then challenge him and say, "Hey, you're bad," and then he says, "Yeah, I'm bad, but I can totally bribe you," and then you get to choose whether you kill him or you accept his bribe. Holy crap! Narbalgal here is tough. It's not for any kind of quest or anything like that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change to regular weapon attack here so I don't use all my mana spewing poison that doesn't do that much damage, and then make it impossible for me to resummon my minions who are getting absolutely torched by these electrical and ice attacks. Oh my god, well, not torched, but wow. Happy we got you jammed on a bridge. You were not easy. We probably have some weapon upgrades or item upgrades and stuff. We'll take a look shortly here. This is generally how I do it. I generally just go around grabbing stuff, then once the inventory's full, then I make a trip to town, I analyze my gear, and then decide if I want to upgrade or not, rather than stopping for every single piece of gear I pick up. Although later on, when you make your loot filter more and more and more just sort of tight, then it's that much more likely that like if something drops, it'll be interesting. Or what usually happens very quickly, you start to get to the point where you only care about monster infrequents. So monster infrequents are items, not hard to describe. So they're items that can drop off certain class of enemies infrequently. Sometimes they also drop off of particular like named unique / bosses. Sometimes they exclusively drop off those. And they do tend to drop much more frequently off of them, but not a guaranteed drop. So, and what they are, they have extra special things. So if it's easier for me to showcase here because I've got the rainbow loot filter mod here that colorizes the prefix and affix of the item as well as the base item itself. But so you can see this weapon here is got a yellow prefix and yellow affix. So that's a magical one of each. This item here has a magical prefix and a rare suffix. So if you don't use the rainbow mod, this whole name would show up in green. Here, I like that it like sort of breaks up the colors. The other thing it does is it colorizes the text on this item so that like poison acid resistance shows up as green. That's part of that mod too. Really, 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 really handy. In fact, I'm gonna put those pants on right away. Holy jeez. Well, Francis' gun isn't really a good example, but sort of is. Monster and Frequence, the actual item name itself with this mod will show up in green and can still have, this one doesn't because it was a special type of drop, but can still have a prefix and a suffix. And Monster and Frequence tend to have things that specifically enable, like, they're the ones, if you find an item that gives you like +3 to one skill and +3 to another, that's probably a Monster and Frequent that gives you that. So they tend to be a core part of the build, and that tends to be what you start looking for. Agra Vic Void, hey, thanks for the sub. Welcome to the party. Oh, this helmet's got bonuses to all of our pets. Yeah, let's throw that on. This one's got +2 to drain essence, which is one of the skills I can get. You do need to have at least 1 point in a skill to benefit from it. Again, we're mostly looking for resistances. Oh, I did get a unique at some point. I got an Acolyte's Cord. Oh, excellent. It is quite common to find uniques that are higher level than you at the start of the game. Which is actually quite nice because in a lot of these ARPGs, when you hit a unique, a lot of times it's like, it's kind of already obsolete when you find it. Here you can kind of preload ahead of time. So that's actually going to be a really good item for us. +2 to raise skeleton. You can go over your max for a skill. There's a hard cap that's 10 above the maximum. So we can have up to 26 points in skeleton. You do actually have to be a little careful about that because it's possible that you've got a bunch of items that you're wearing that give you more than +10. So what you could actually do at that point is you can respec and like refund some of your points and still be at 26 of 16. People refer to the normal cap here. The 16 points is kind of the soft cap. Generally speaking, points past the soft cap don't give you quite as much. So whether or not you are going to go beyond the soft cap sort of depends on where it is in the tree. Generally speaking, your primary attack, you're going to want like max out as much as possible. But a lot of times with sort of mods to it and stuff, you might not do as much. You might just bring to the soft cap instead of the hard cap and then use those points somewhere else. Speaking of points, we got a whole lot of them. I'm going to go and finish Undead Legion. There you go. Get the extra summon going on. And then I'm going to dump points into the base class over here. And then I think what we're going to do next time we level up, we'll put a point in Spectral Binding and then start dumping points in Spectral Wrath, which will debuff things around me all the time, which is going to be great. Yeah, I mean, more points is more better all the time. So, like, you don't have to stress about it. But when you get to, like, when you're nearing the end of your build and you're trying to, like, figure out, oh, man, how do I squeeze in like an extra skill? I need this extra skill. Okay, well I can take a few points off of here and here and actually not lose that much. I can't put the belt on, it's got a level of 17 and I'm currently 15. So 2 levels we'll be able to put that belt on. Oh my god, with the phone calls. Two more blue items here. I think we're gonna have to drop some items to make some space. Let's get rid of you. Okay, we're gonna change our filter. We're not gonna care about rare or magic items anymore. It needs at least a rare prefix or affix for us to care about it anymore now. We're gonna start becoming much fussier. Oh, we got our first blueprints as well. Oh, Adept's boots, okay. That's great. So this is actually part of a set, Adept's boots. So we could go and craft those. These magic boots, Windborn Greaves. Good for some extra movement, which we may or may not do. What's this ring? Blood Seal, which isn't for us, it's for another class with a +2 fighting form, +2 bloody pox. Fighting form is soldier, bloody pox is cultist? Maybe? Something like that. Okay. I'll keep the stuff that we've got now to sell. That's probably a 2-handed gun, right? I think it's probably worth... I need 129 cunning. All right, you know what? Let's not worry about that. And there's a cave here I haven't gone in. Now, one of these caves is just going to be a dude that gives us a hint about a cache, which we don't actually need to talk to him in any way whatsoever, but... Caller clearly needs to spend some channel points. Yeah, essentially, I think I swapped phones. I think the... so the phone that I normally have down here, I have the ringer set to silenced. I think at some point, the phone here and the phone in the living room got inverted. Because I shouldn't be hearing the phone. And you should. So we did want to come down here for sure to get ourselves another devotion point. Which I'll try to spend immediately. I'm going to keep going down Shepherd's Crook. So this level here, 10% elemental resistance for us and 15% elemental resistance for our pets, which is great. We'll go at the other side just to see where it ends up. If it's moving us over to the west side of the map, I'm trying to think. There is the cache, which will give us some really nice shoulders somewhere on the west side of the map. Somewhere on the west side of the map is also the quest where we need to turn in the 3 sliff necklaces, although I think we've only still got the 1. Phone isn't landline, yeah. But we got a package that's got our internet, cable, and phone all in one. But yeah, I still got the landline. Hey man, we're Gen Xers and millennials in the house. And a boomer, I suppose. Okay. I don't actually know if this is leading in a direction that's useful. Let's find out. I probably could just go for the end of act boss right now. I often don't have my cell phone like on me in the house. Like I've got it plugged in somewhere to charge all the time. But like, so my sister will always be yelling at me because she'll like send me a text message or something. And I won't see it for days. It's like, I'll be like, this is literally the first time I've picked up my cell phone in days. I'm sorry. Yeah, she should just watch the stream and use channel points to get in contact with me. Okay. So we are past the area with the shoulder stash, unless I'm mistaken, and also the area for the Slith necklace, so that's fine. This is an example of monster infrequent. So Grobble Toxic Effigy is the monster infrequent, and it includes the +2 to Dreeg's Evil Eye and increased weapon damage Dreeg's Evil Eye. Dreeg's Evil Eye is a direct damage spell that the occultist has, and then on top of that, it's got the Subjugator prefix and celerity suffix. So Subjugators is what's giving 20% to all pet damage, and celerity is giving increased casting speed. We don't care about the casting speed. The pet bonus would be nice if we got more points. I'm still going to dump all my points into physique. We will, as we keep increasing our base class, we will get some more points just sort of baseline into Spirit and Cunning, which will help us equip items, especially when we get around to also investing in our Shaman class. Alright, so those 2 more dead people that we needed for our side quest. There's a little side area over here. Oh no, it's not a side area. Little dead end. All right, never mind. Here are 2 millennials and also still have a landline with a good old Bakelite phone. Wow. I was just telling a story on Discord the other day, and this is something that I've talked about on stream once or twice before. How when I was growing up in my hometown, I wanted to call my friends. I only had to dial 5 digits. Because I think there was no other exchange nearby that used 9. So like in North America, the numbers, I mean, you have your area code, and then you have your, so 3-digit area code, 3-digit exchange. So there's another Grobble's Toxic Effigy, right? Another copy of this monster infrequent, but with 2 different affixes than the last one we found. So if you wanted the effigy, you're probably looking for one with the specific sort of prefix or suffix that would boost, that would be useful for what you're doing. You might like the celerity for the cast speed, but you might want an affix that adds extra poison damage, because I think that's what Dreeg's Evil Eye does. So yeah, so normally it's like 3 digits area code, 3 digits exchange, then 4 digit at the end. What is this cave? And it's only actually fairly recent, only in the last few years, that we now have to dial the area code. So we have to do full 10-digit dialing these days. But for a long time, it was just the 7 digits. But yeah, growing up, I only had to dial 5 digits. 9, and then the 4 numbers that were the actual phone number of my friend in the... This is a level 20... Okay, this is a dangerous domain. That's a level 21. Yeah, we're not coming in here. Not on a hardcore character. No thank you. Bad. We're going to push up over here. We're going to enter the Burwich outskirts. There you go. There's a waypoint up ahead. We will have to fight to clear it, but that's fine. What's Overseer's Eye go? So that's another monster infrequent. Stun Janks, yeah, okay. But nothing for us. Well, not the base item. Occultists, and Celerity. I think it's showing up for us because it's got skill cooldown reduction and casting speed, and I do have that as part of my loot filter. But it's not actually an item I'm interested in, and I might turn some of those off the loot filter. Okay, so we got to clear this rift gate, and by we I mean my my subordinates here, my little skeletons. Go, murder, death, kill. My little pea shooter is so pointless at this point. I mean, I haven't upgraded. It's literally the one that we found like 5 minutes into the game. But even if I had upgraded, it still really wouldn't do very much. Oh! Summon my minions. So yeah, the skeletons are very useful for early leveling, but at some point, they do start to feel squishier and squishier, and that's why we'll switch to the other pets. They're going to be a lot sturdier. There's not going to be as many of them. We're going to have one of this, one of that kind of vibe, but they are going to be super duper tanky. Big boost to drain essence, which yeah, we're not doing. Okay, we can report back to John Bourbon. We'll also go and dump some of our inventory over here. Yeah, my hometown had like 1,000 people in it. So 200-300 households. So yeah, it's definitely within the 10,000 number range that the effectively the 4-digit dialing plus a 9 prefix would allow. No, again, the armor is good. Mostly all I'm looking for here is resistances, or if it happens to give us pet stuff. I like the little doll thing here, but no. Yeah, we're not going to use Bloodsteel. I could bank it for like another character, but we're going to assume on my hardcore, we might just keep going. I don't know, maybe I will bank it. Toxic Effigy, no. So yeah, this would boost our hand-to-hand damage, but I don't really want to get up close and personal anyway. That's components, so we'll keep that. I don't like that we don't have the health in the shield, so I might not change. Usually I end up looking at a handful of these items, and at some point I'm like, and we'll pretend the rest of it's not an upgrade. 3% health. Good shield block. Oh no, it's less. Fire, poison. No, we'll get rid of those. Aether, elemental resistance. Maybe? Okay, let's pretend that one's an upgrade. Maybe it's not, but let's just assume it is. Oh, we do have a binding item here, which gives us a +2 to skeletons. So between this book, which needs more spirit, and then the belt, we're looking at +4 to our summoned skeleton now. If we can get them equipped. No, we have to put this on for the pierce resistance. It's got lower armor. Let's say no. And especially early on, we're really not going to stress too much. Pet health bonus. I don't like that we lose resistances personally, so I think I'll have to say no to that. For most normal characters, I would really be prioritizing boots with movement speed, but for this character here, I'm not going to care as much. Poison Putrid Necklace of the Aether. Yeah, more Blood Adri boosters if we were playing that kind of character, but we're not. There's a component over there. Right, I'll just sell the Blood Seal. So these boots here, they give you a big boost to movement, and then when you get hit, it does a chill wind boost. Gives us some Aether resistance. Got a lot of armor. I might hold on to it. I suspect by the time we get to level 20, we'll probably have found a better set of boots. But there you go. Hey, Luther. Good. And yeah, he's got a shop here. We can buy a ribbon for a ribbon slot that we don't have from Luther. So we're gonna do that. All these should give us plus 3% experience gain. I'll probably grab the Impervious Ribbon of Meditation for the Pierce and Poison and Acid resistance. There you go. Oh, 80% is the resistance cap in Grim Dawn. So we are 11% over the cap for Poison and Acid. When you do go to Elite difficulty and then Ultimate, it does lower your resistances for everything on the top row over here. So, you know, by the end of normal, it's actually good to be over cap because you're going to lose some of that. But that's fine. This just means as we switch our items around, it won't be too much of a big deal.
See you around.
Can I get enough spirit? If I just throw polished emeralds on everything that supports poison or polished emeralds. That's just 8 per, so I guess we're not going to get there. We're damn close. If we level up, I could consider putting points in the spirit. Well, if I just put more points in my base here, let's just do that. And we are 1 point short? Come on! Seriously? On a shield, you should. Oh, you're right. Although, what we might need to do is put it on a shield to get us to the point where we have enough spirit to equip this, and we'll have to make sure we've also got a polished emerald on this book here, so that when we swap... Oh, actually, the shield is going to get us plus 3% spirit, so yeah. As long as we've got enough spirit to put it on, we're going to be good afterwards. We'll actually be overkilled on spirit, which items are like self-sustaining. But yeah, we'll just wait. We'll get one more level up.
Have you found?
And as long as we put at least one more point into the base class, we're going to be okay. Yeah, Ingram. Yeah, and we can start doing crafting stuff. Crafting this game's pretty good. Last Epoch still has the best crafting, but it's pretty good. This guy here, Direni, he's the jerk that if we find the text form, and I don't remember where it is. Oh, you still don't have a quest for me. Oh, this person here, Sedina, she got a little quest. It's not a real quest. It's just to, like, point the way. Here's your respec.
Stay strong.
The only thing you can't change is what classes you've picked. Okay, well, let's head on up. Yeah, if I found something temporarily that gave me a tiny bit more spirit, I could maybe use that to get the book on. All right, so we're gonna go west over here, and we don't have a quest for this area. So there's the one lady. She's got the 2 kids she's adopted there. Once we get to friendly with Devil's Crossing, the town we're in, she will trust us enough to ask us to get her some fabric. I don't know why she needs to trust us to ask for some fabric. She just doesn't want to talk to us at all until that point. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna go and change my click to move to. I do not do enough damage to even be worth doing it. But we can go and get that fabric ahead of time. Just gotta go make our way to the docks. I like, if you click on a destructible object, you'll still shoot. I don't have to come down here. Yeah, my minions are doing some serious damage. Considering I don't have a single item that buffs their damage, that's actually looking pretty good. This is another dangerous domain place, which I don't think I'm going to do on this particular go, but I wanted to show you. Again, because we're playing hardcore, and I don't think an item I'm specifically looking for in there. We'll do that. So normally you'll have the quest and these things will show up as a star on your mini-map. There's a handful of containers that can spawn in random location. There's another one. They'll have fabric. There's going to be 3 of them. So we're going to pick up 3 fabric. And then at some point, maybe when we kill the boss of Act 1, we'll have enough rep where she will give us the quest to get fabric and we'll be like, oh yeah, we already did that. Because we're awesome. Tell my minions to go and kill this because that thing summons more crap. Oh, there we go. So that's the last fabric I'm going to need for that quest. So then what I can do is I can just come back this way towards the town proper. The totem up there. I'm not going to stress too much about hitting the totems right now. Certainly if they're like on the way, I'm always going to go on and grab them because they are great drops. But otherwise, it's not the end of the world because once you're a higher level, like one of the things you tend to do in the end game is you might go and farm these totems. You might have routes that you go to. You're like, okay, I'm going to town portal here. I'm going to walk over this way and there'll be one of the 3 totems that I can do. I'll clear that. Then I'm going to town portal here and do the same thing and repeat. And then once I've like cleared, you know, these totems that I go for, then I'm just going to like exit to the main menu, reload, and then do that again. That's one of the farming things you can do in this game. There's like a bunch. You can run these like roguelike dungeons where if you die, you get locked out of the dungeon until you reset. Of course, we're playing hardcore, so everything's kind of, you know, permadeath dungeon-y kind of vibe for us. There's the Shattered Realm, which can be like infinite scaling difficulty and infinite scaling loot. But yeah, so later on, it's very good to hit those totems. Right now, the stuff's going to get obsolete pretty quickly. I am level 17, you're right. We can equip this belt. +2 to raise skeleton. If you take a look, we're now at level 18 of 16 for our skeletons. And if I put a point in here, I can now equip the Demolitionist Fleshbound Tome, which isn't really doing much for us other than +2 raise skeleton. Although, okay, it does have all those bonuses to pets, right? Plus 11% to all their damage, health, offensive ability. That's actually really good. And yeah, we needed 174 spirit. We now have 207 because it has so much built into it, but that's fine. So now I'm going to put a point in the Spectral Binding and a point in the Spectral Wrath. And we're going to start running this. I'm just going to put it right over here. Turn that on. And this is... So this one doesn't have a reserve. Sometimes it reserves a chunk of your mana. Here it's eating mana per second, but not as much... Oh, it does have a reserve, 25. And it eats mana per second, which isn't as much as my regen rate. Mostly it's just meaning I'm regenerating mana, or energy, sorry, slower. And yeah, the base thing that it does, it boosts my personal damage by adding Aether damage to it. But the big thing now is with Spectral Wrath is within the area around me, enemies are taking some constant damage, slightly, but they're getting their physical resistance and others debuffed, which means they're going to take more damage. My minions are basically all doing physical damage right now. Yeah, and a little bit of vitality. They'll take more. Oh, we have to go down to the cellar. We've got a apprentice to rescue. Go, minions. Yeah, rank 20 skeletons now. More health, more damage. So we got Darlet here. This is the apprentice. Smart enough to draw a salt circle around herself. So we're going to rescue her. And there's, you know, we can look around more in here, but for us, we're going to pop back out, and we are going to be beelining towards the Warden now. Did I clear this? Oh, no, I didn't. That'll be another devotion point. How's it going, everyone? Good. Excellent. Good job, minions. So, next point, Shepherd's Crook. Plus 3% to health for me, plus 5% health and defensive ability for my employees, my loyal employees. Loyal to the death. Loyal since they're dead. One of those things. Go, minions. Spring forth and protect me, Burly. Minions. Whatever. Up down here. Pick up a couple of journals. Read them for the excellent lore. Which is really good. I'm just doing it for the XP because I have read it before. Go. More journaling over here. So yeah, the town that we're in, that we're operating out of, oh, all my minions are dead, is Devil's Crossing, but it's actually Burwich Prison is what it is. And we are currently hunting down the previous Warden of Burwich Prison. Warden Krieg. who may or may not be possessed by a magic space demon. It's hard to say. So this is actually a pretty long sort of dungeony area over here because there's 3 waypoints that we're going to cross as we progress through all of this. And the actual pathing is going to be somewhat randomized because of the random blockers. I'm not too concerned about killing things along the way. There is, I don't know if this is one of the areas. No, not there. These dungeon stuff, there's tons of secrets in these. Huge amounts of secret walls that don't show up on the mini-map. If it's your first time playing, you're going to want to be like mousing over a lot of these walls and stuff like that and trying to find all the secrets that are there. And yeah, see, sometimes I think you can walk through here and sometimes you can't. Oh, there's a little secret. Little crumbling wall. I don't think this is a major one, but if we come in here... Oh no! Right, this is a shortcut. Excellent. Little chest. Get some loot. Nice. Oh, this is not the shortcut. This is just a secret loot area. So yeah, there's tons of stuff like that. Some of which you can't even open right now. You have to come back once you get access to dynamite, which happens in Act 2. Run. That's a dead end. Through this way. Not even paying attention to where I'm going, other than looking at the minimap. Oh wait, minions, I don't want to fight you. Is this, can I go through here? No, not on this one. Alright. Oh, a bunch of minions died. Yeah, at some point we'll switch out of the skeletons and go to the other pets. They're going to be very sturdy. Which you don't have to, but that's my plan here. And switch from skeletons to another set of pets. Fewer of them, but much tankier. Sort of like making a move from skeletons to golems in other ARPGs and things. Alright, we're going to have to pass through this way. And these paths vary every single time. Oh, minions, can you go and kill the crystal cluster here, please? Thank you. Much appreciated. Reanimator. This is like the reanimator boss we had to kill right at the start of the game. Now they're just regular mobs. I do like to see that progression. Okay, then we're gonna go down another level. Resummon a skeleton because I'm not at my cap. That is waypoint 2 of 3 that we're gonna encounter in all this. Oh, we got a hero button monster. Always worth killing. They're worth much more experience and tend to drop a big loot bucket. Come on, please die. Thank you. Level 18. What a good number. I'm going to put up True Points in Spectral Wrath and then keep leveling up the base skill a little bit more. Just trying to speed through here. It is worth doing full exploration of these places because there is a lot of little pedestals that will have lore books, which first of all, nice boost of extra experience, and secondly, just great for extra info. Come on. There you go. Hey, despite status of beasts. So, there's a reputation system in this game. I've mentioned it sort of casually a few times with the starting town we're in, Devil's Crossing. But there's also a reputation with the enemies you kill. As you progress through the game, the enemies that you kill by class will hate you more and more and more. There we go, I was gonna say there's a secret here. And the upshot to that is as you get through these different ranks, so now we're despised by beasts, packs of beasts will be bigger. As we keep going down there, we'll be more and more likely to encounter hero versions, which have, you know, more XP and more loot. And then eventually you get to the point where you encounter nemesis. Action window. So beast, yeah, see, we're now despised. Over here, extra spawns. Over here, additional hero spawns, and way at the end, unlock nemesis spawns, which are like fairly rare world bosses that can be a pretty big challenge to kill. They give you tons of loot. Beasts hate this one simple trip. Yeah. So we got 18 minutes left. We're going to finish Act 1 or die trying. Okay, well, I can finish Shepherd's Call. I can bind it to Poison Bomb. Here's the thing. I'm not using Poison Bomb, so I'm not going to be triggering Shepherd's Call right now. Although I guess I could. So now, when I fire a Poison Bomb, there's a 25% chance that Shepherd's Call will fire and buff all my minions. I mean, that sounds pretty good. But the big thing is to bind it to something, because as long as it's bound to something, it's gaining XP. There you go. I think that's a Shepherd's Call right there. Every time you see that little purple go off, that's Shepherd's Call activated. And actually, it's possible it has a chance of activating off the ticks of the dots here as well. I'm not sure. Sometimes you'll see the percentage change. Sometimes you'll see on these skills, it's like, oh, 25% chance. And you bind it something, it'll only be a 10% chance. It does scale based on the casting time or cooldown. I guess the cooldown of the skill. So it keeps it well balanced. Like it's actually, sometimes I guess the numbers will go up because it's based on like if there's no cooldown, but then if you use it on something that's got a cooldown, it'll increase the percentage. So you're getting the effect fairly frequently. It's not the same for everything. You'll have to check those numbers, but it's a pretty well designed system. And yeah, as long as it's bound to anything, it'll gain XP and become more and more powerful over time. Yeah, I probably won't be too active with this just because I'm worried about not having mana to resummon my skeletons when they die. Especially since this still does shit for damage. Maybe I should invest in Ravenous Earth. This is not a bad skill. Although the cost is pretty high. Poison Bomb's 32, this is 40. It might be slightly more powerful. There's another blue item. So blue items are, I mean, they call them epics. In other games, you would call them uniques. They have fixed values. Sometimes they'll have a stat on it that has like a range. You know, it'll be somewhere from like 15 to 25% blah or whatever. But effectively, they are fixed items. They're the uniques of the game. They come in unique they come in epic and legendary varieties. All right, there's the final rift. Next stop, boss. More journal entries. Inquisitor Creed. I don't think we found 1 and 2. I think they're in other towns other towns on the surface, buildings on the surface. Hey, Tetaturdetta. Tetaturdetta. I think I got it right that time. Thanks for that. Hold on, I'll get the actual message in just a second here. Kill this room off. Thank you very much. Thank you for everything. I hope this helps with the whiskey and chocolate. Can't wait for more KSP2 content. Let's hope Jebediah will survive more than in KSP1. Well, if he does survive more often, I would consider that a tremendous failure. I mean, what the hell? We don't want Jebediah to live. Sounds wrong. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to explicitly unbind that. The reason being that we do so very little damage with the attack, and it doesn't have, the Shepherd's Cork hasn't even very leveled up right now that much, so it doesn't gain much from activating. And yeah, I'm really worried about just not having the mana to resummon my skeletons in this upcoming boss fight. So as it's pretty common with a lot of games, the very first major boss of a chapter tends to kill more players than anything else. That's probably the case with Krieg as well. He is surprisingly tough the first time you get through. That's actually a really nice weapon. It's not really what I'm going to use. Suppose I could, though. You know what? F it. Let's go ahead and hook it up. We can do some pretty big damage. Although, ooh. Now our spell's not bound to anything we have active. Let's not worry about it. We can re-equip it after this fight. And I will... Come on. Weapon attack back on this. Like those little lightning novas. Oh my god, we're taking damage. Why would I walk up to things? Put my gun back up. I should really just not get involved in combat. How many times do I have to teach myself this lesson, old man? admittedly, we should probably stop and check for equipment upgrades in our inventory before we fight the boss as well. I don't know what kind of damage he does. I feel like he might do a lot of vitality damage. Sort of equivalent to necrotic damage in this game. Well, I can't give a rating to Diablo 4 yet, I feel. Right? It's only the beta, only played a few hours, we can't get that deep. Visually, it's great. It definitely feels like a AAA title. And like in my video, I said like, oh, it's got that sort of like visuals and things you would expect from Blizzard. And people thought that was like an endorsement of Blizzard in certain ways. It's like, no, that's not what I mean. I mean, this is a big AAA title. Like, I love Last Epoch a lot. I think it's a stupendous game. I think it's really good. I think right now it's my second favorite ARPG, just because Grim Dawn is so good and it's hard to compete with. Again, it's not release version yet. But if Blizzard released Last Epoch, you'd be like, but I mean, the graphics don't really, they're good, but they're not like stunning. The sound doesn't really have the same punch. We don't have like big pre-rendered like cutscenes and things. Like, what's the deal? So Diablo 4 feels like a big AAA title, and already it's like a million times better than Diablo 3. Like, that's not even in question. And obviously, like, Diablo 2 is excellent, but it is dated at this point. So to say that something is better than Diablo 2 is like, well, when we remove the consideration of its age as a mitigating factor, it might not be that hard to defeat Diablo 2 these days, right? Because there's definitely some dated archaic stuff in D2. Still a great game, fun to play, except I hate the potion management in Diablo 2. I don't think I can play Diablo 2 anymore because the potion management is so awful. And I mean, it wasn't fun at the time, and it only feels worse and worse and worse. Like how we got like this just cluster of mages here, just like nuking the site from orbit now. That's great. I think the skill system, I like that there is a skill system that's actually meaningful this time, as opposed to D3, which didn't. I do think the skill tree is very much like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. I mean, it's barely a tree of skills, but I don't really know how that's going to feel because we haven't played it that much. We haven't gotten to the late game. We don't know the implication. It does appear that there's a lot of items in Diablo 4 that modify skills, and I suspect that a lot of what's part of the build is going to come from the items rather than where you actually spend your skill points. And so that becomes harder to evaluate without having access to that item pool and knowing what's out there. But all that being said, it definitely feels like the build system for the classes is a lot simpler than, I mean, certainly simpler than Path of Exile, but I would also say much simpler than Grim Dawn and much simpler than Last Epoch, in a way that I think Last Epoch is very accessible. That's one of the things I'm really impressed by that game. And Grim Dawn's fairly similar. I feel like the build system has a lot of potential, but it's fairly easy to understand. Put point, get thing. It turns out there's like some really interesting interactions, and especially Grim Dawn is actually a good example of like your loot system. In the end, you're like max level character, your build will be the sort of legendary set that you equip is going to be a big part of that build. But there's a lot still going on here, which is pretty good. And then Last Epoch, between the passive skill tree, or I should say skill trees, because it's your base class plus your mastery plus your off masteries, and you can use all those passive skill trees. And then the fact that each skill you specialize in gets its own skill tree. Plus you still have the items are part of my final build because of the way uniques work. I think there's some like really interesting and fun kind of like crunch and considerations for your build in Last Epoch, while it still feels pretty good and intuitive. You start playing, you're like, oh, I will put point in thing and it will get better. Path of Exile suffers there because the gem skill system, which is awesome and I love, very much is not very intuitive, and the skill web, the passives, is very hard to navigate as a new player. But yeah, I think Diablo is, I think they're just embracing that they're a less crunchy action RPG. Or they're making a choice to move in that direction. And that actually might be a good idea, because it's going to be an ARPG for the people who don't want to deal with, by the way, this is the chapter boss. It's going to be an ARPG for the people who don't want to deal with maybe the more theory crafting complexity. Oh, he's dead. It was really easy. Oh, super easy to kill. Oh, that wasn't even his final form! Ow. So, he's a little tricky here. He did obliterate my skeletons as well. So he has a lot of short-range AoE, and he hits fairly decently in melee. He actually arguably gets worse if you stay too far away from him, because when he starts hitting you with the am I out of healing potions? Oh no, I'm not. It was just on cooldown. When he starts shooting his crossbow at you, the crossbow does actually like stupendous amounts of damage. Yeah, it's not super easy going on here. If you could stop killing my skeletons, that would be great. I'd appreciate that. I'll just open a little waypoint over here in case I need to GTFO. All my skeletons are dead. All right. It might be Aether damage that he's doing. I don't know if it's Vitality or Aether. That's green. It's got a greenish tint, right? So it might be Aether damage. So I might have been able to spec specifically like that for me. Unfortunately, we're not really at the point where I'm going to be able to realistically spec to get that resistances on my minions. So they're still staying a little squishy. There we go. Whoa! That is not an easy fight. Your first time through for sure. Veteran hardcore, a lot of pressure. But there you go. Kill them. Hey, we get Krieg's Cleaver over here. And we can head to town now. We'll turn that in. Almost certainly, I expect at this point, we will be friendly with Devil's Crossing. Hey, yes, we found your apprentice. Cool. Yeah, I'm getting more rep. There we go. We're now friendly with Devil's Crossing just from that. Even before we turn in the Krieg's quest. This item can be great. Yeah, it's not really for us.
Is it finished? The Warden's defeat is a great...
All right, if we take a look here, Krieg's Cleaver right here. One-handed axe, huge amount of physical damage for the level. I mean, and then a bunch of bonus vitality damage and attack damage converted to health is great. Bonus damage to humans, which are fairly common. Even if you don't use Curse of Frailty, you're going to use this axe a lot on a lot of characters. In fact, I'm considering using it for myself just because of the physical damage conversion, but I'm really not melee attacking, so it's not really... I'm not going to be attacking at all. That maybe being a spell, so it's really not that meaningful. But now that we're friendly, we come up over here. There you go. She's going to request some fabric. Yeah. Hey, I got a bunch of fabric. I like that it actually changes the screen. Look at that. It's quite lovely. I'm just... Oh, all right. Oh, it's shift click. Oh, not shift right click. If I accidentally switched anything else, but... Oh, I equipped the cleaver. Yeah, I'll keep the lightning rod. I'll just bank those, because why not? You can also, shortcut key, move all crafting components to here. And what's nice about that is if you craft things at the blacksmith, they will grab things out of your stash to craft for it, so you don't have to worry about doing that. But yeah. These relics are quite good. Oh, it is level 18. Do I have enough to craft these? I do. What recipes do I have? Calamity. Corruption. I don't have enough money for that. Do any of these boost pets? Glacier. Rumination? No. I'm gonna need to do some more totems. Totems do have, they tend to drop a lot of blueprints. So we can get a relic that gives us a boost to our pets.
Go on now. Come see what's left of my wares.
Handed. I think we're going to probably want to have an offhand most of the time. There's a lot of armor on these pants. Not as many resistances. The physique will translate to a fair amount of health, though. I think I'll go ahead and wear those. Oh! This weapon here! There we go! Oh, Warden's Judgment is a monster infrequent, which gives us another +2 to raise skeleton, and a +1 to our limit. There you go. We don't need weapons that attack. We just need weapons that boost our summons like that.
Put it to good use.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna see if we can get from Foggy Mag. Oh no, that's the enclosed rift. I think Burwich Outskirts Rift. We're gonna see if we might just be able to get the key. Okay, does anyone remember, where do we get Grim Dawn Dureni. Cultist in the Mist. Where do we start that? Find cultist orders building in Burwich Village. We have to check these buildings. We're going to find a cultist order somewhere in there. Okay. I don't know in which building. Cultist orders. If I check on Grim Tools website, database, cultist orders, click on that. Location, Dusty Lectern, right over here. So very close to the waypoint, but not the direction I was going in. There you go. So we read this. Oh. I don't actually get lore to read for it? Oh, right here. There you go. Brothers, da-da-da-da-da. There's an agent in Devil's Crossing named Dureni. Oh my god. He's super evil. What a shock. So, let's go over here. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, we can farm the cultist guys for drops as well, but it's annoying. So instead, you go to Dureni.
What do you want?
You're like, hey, you're that, and we could kill him. Or I say, explain yourself. You could die. No, we have a deal. I'm gonna let you live. You're gonna give me a strange key, so I don't have to farm that, because it's annoying. It's okay. We'll kill him later. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, playing the same characters. I think I'm gonna bring in someone who's a little lower level, but it's actually gonna be okay, I think. I'm gonna bring in another skeletal summoner with the same name as this one, making my own friends. So we can compare what it's like to play a skeleton summoner in 2 different ARPGs, back to back. Yeah, I'm up to 9 skeletons now. We can also start putting points in the Will of the Crypt. Now my skeletons will start doing vitality damage. So it adds base vitality damage and percentage vitality damage. Also increases percentage elemental damage, which they don't do any right now. That's not going to do much. You know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to get our Blight Fiend. What's the mod? So when these... Okay, so the squares, these are active spells you can use. Circles are passive, and sometimes they're just passives that are on all the time. Sometimes they are passives that modify an active skill. Like here, Rotting Fumes is something that modifies my Blight Fiend. The ones that go sideways are transformative. I think they're called transmutes or something. So they change things a little bit. This Unstable Anomaly changes my minions. Instead of having only 1 Blight Fiend, I can have up to 3, but they have a duration. They only live for 12 seconds. That's not what I want. I want the permanent pet. I'm going to put a bunch of points in the base so he's relatively tough and tanky. And I'm going to throw him over here. And there we go. Now, these permanent pets show up over here in the top left. You can actually change their aggression as well. There you go. Blight Fiend, I think, is quite tanky. If we compare it to the Shaman over here, I think the Briarthorn is very good at clearing and doing DPS, unlike some AoE and things. There you go. We got a big old shambling dude. Isn't he cute? Aww. All right. Go forth and obliterate. You can turn the camera in the game. I always leave it pointing north, otherwise I get confused. All right, so all these cultists over here, they all have a small chance of dropping a strange key. I'm just gonna chill back here. How's it going? Oh, of course one will randomly drop strange key. There was a hero dude. I don't know if that's that hero dude. Oh, I can't pick it up because I already got one. If you come around here, sometimes there'll be, I think, a specific named one with like maybe a skull icon. I think if that one's up, that's guaranteed to drop the key. Otherwise, the cultist just can randomly do it. So we could have killed Dureni right away, but it's okay. What we need is we need that key to open this door over here. So sometimes you'll go and clear this area like 5 times and not get a strange key. Of course, this time we'll get it. But yeah, you can just get it from Dureni every time if you just let him live. So dangerous domain. Yeah, we got reduced poison acid resistance as well, bleed resistance. But we do get a booster regeneration, so that's cool. What are these minions? 23. That's not good, because I think it means the boss in here is going to be level 25. That doesn't feel great. This is where we die, chat. Yeah. And here's the thing. I probably should back out of this, but you know, what could possibly go wrong? Our skeletons are really good. We found a lot of things to boost our skeletons, which is nice. All right, go forth, minions. I'm pretty good about making sure to send my minions ahead of me. That's going to help a lot. I'm going to resummon my Blight Fiend as well, because it's taking some damage. I might not do the totem in here, because I'm a little bit nervous that it might kill me. And here's the thing, we might kill the boss in here and not get his monster infrequent. But if we do, it'll give us a whole other summon. I think I'm thinking right, boss. Oh, it's hard to resist, but no. I'm checking out on that. Trick with this dungeon where you open door, order minions to go and attack, not entering yourself. Yeah. Oh, right over here. Salazar! Blade of Chthon. Alright, go forth, my minions. Kill that guy. My Blight Fiend, send him back out. Skeletons are still alive. Oh, my skeletons have gotten to be real tough people. Okay, now they're dying pretty quickly. There's some AoEs. But I think we're okay. Come on, cooldowns. Go skeletons. Nice. Ah, we didn't get his monster infrequent. It's a cleansing blade of Elgoth. Sort of. Cleanse blade. Sky fragments come down? Neat. Cool little thing, but not useful for us. I think he drops... I can't remember if it's a weapon or an offhand. But it gives us another skill that we can, yeah, use to summon a pet. I think it's a permanent pet? Maybe it's not permanent, but it's like... Maybe it's like 30 seconds at a time kind of pet. Still really good. We can push to the end of this little mini dungeon here. Just because it will... I think there will be a chest at the end. With a little bit more. Of course, nothing's stopping us from, like, resetting this, right? Drop to the main menu, walk back over here. Now that we've unlocked the door, it will stay unlocked on this difficulty. Oh, my Blight Fiend is dead. He's a little squishier because we don't have that many points in him. There you go, Exalted Stash. Lots of loot. This is another set piece. That's what the S is over there. Marauder's Fury. It's part of a gun type set for Demolitionists and Arcanists. Grand chest. Feel good knowing that that boss isn't so bad. I actually might decide to go and farm him a few times and see if we can get that drop before we continue on. But for now, it is just after 4, which means the Kiss for Lux live stream has started, which means they are in the last epoch. So what we're going to do is we're going to raid that channel. I'm going to join them with another another character in there. Unless... What was I playing? Oh, I was playing my my Beastmaster. Maybe I'll just still play the Beastmaster. I don't know. Salazar, Sovereign Blade, rare monster infrequent. 12% chance to drop from Salazar. There you go. Item allows player to temporarily summon Chthonian Harbinger as a pet. Good info. So yeah, we're going to continue the ARPG fun over on a Kids for Lux channel. We're going to raid over there. We're going to end the stream here. And we'll have a... Yeah, we'll be able to compare one to the other. And I'm going to see you guys on Wednesday for whatever. I don't know. Maybe we'll do more of this. Maybe Wednesday I'll be in the mood for KSP. Maybe we'll play something completely different. I'll start my my competitive League of Legends career. I'll see you in a Kiss for Lux channel. Bye, everyone.